In pagan ritual, the change of the seasons and cycles of the sun and moon are celebrated and honoured, not only as a connection and observance of the natural world, but respect for the divine process of life, death and rebirth. There's no start or end. The wheel is eternal. Everything's in cycle. Honouring seasonal change tunes you into the natural rhythms of the earth, the sky and the environment around you. Yule is the winter solstice, when the moon goddess is at her strongest. The nights are long and the day hours are short. The sun's power is at a low ebb. All in nature has drawn its energy deep into its core, hibernating, returning to source. At midwinter, in the darkest time, the moon gives birth to a seed of light, and the wheel turns towards the sun. Great God of the sun, we welcome your return. All blessings upon you, reborn one of the sun. The nights are still cold, but the days have become brighter, and there's a noticeable warmth in the sun. This is Imbolc, the Feast of the Torches, signalling the end of winter hibernation and celebrating the lengthening of the daylight hours. The sun god has grown from a vulnerable seed to a curious little being asserting its independence. At Imbolc, the sun is announced to the world. In the Northern Hemisphere, it's celebrated as St. Bridget's Day. Where I am, in the Southern Hemisphere, the wattle comes out in a blaze of bright yellow, but also there's daffodils, freesias and sunflowers. All of nature is stirring awake. Hail, great God, hail and welcome. 3 months after solstice is equinox, when the sun and moon are balanced and day and night are of equal length. This union of the sun and moon is the birth of spring, when all of nature is budding with fresh life. Life renews itself by your magic, Earth Goddess. The sun god stretches and rises eager in his youth, bursting with the promise of summer. In the Northern Hemisphere, Ostra coincides with Easter, the Easter bunnies and red eggs giving a nod towards Ostra's pagan origins. In the Southern Hemisphere, the smell of jasmine is in the air, the footy finals have happened, and the wattlebirds are making a racket in the bottle brush. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. As the wheel turns, those early signs of spring burst into full colour and buzzing with energy. The sun god and the mother goddess have fertilised the land, and all of nature responds with frisky displays and sexy time between all of her creatures. The Northern Hemisphere celebrates this on May the 1st, with a maypole, dancing and woven ribbons to represent the fertile union between the sun and the moon. In the Southern Hemisphere, the jacaranda and the waratah are in full bloom, the magpies are swooping, and we have a public holiday for a horse race that revels in gambling, fashion, hooking up and drunkenness. Beltane is a fertility festival. Six months from Yule, the sun is at full strength, closest to the earth. The wheel has turned to the midsummer solstice, Lita. The nights are warm and the daylight hours have peaked in length. With that comes a sense of purpose and clarity, sharing good fortune, making right past wrongs, setting new goals. Farmers are preparing for harvest, literally making hay while the sun shines. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's the Christmas break, and natural to be spending time with friends and family, sharing food, being outside and enjoying summer. The flowering gums are out, and the Banksia is lit up like lanterns. The solstice marks a turning point. The nighttime force is awoken and will increase in strength as the sun weakens. What has been empty must fill. Lughnasadh is the celebration of the first harvest of the year's work. The sun has reached full strength, and these are its parting gifts. The crops have come to bear, the fruit and berries ripen, and the long summer days feel like they won't ever end. In Australia, it's bushfire season. Lughnasadh celebrates the abundance and essential life force of the natural world as the wheel turns towards the longer nights and the coming of winter. Wrapped in the coldness of night, fruits ripen, seeds drop. Leaves turn brown and fall to the ground. It's the autumn equinox, Marbon. The hours of darkness have lengthened to become equal and balanced with the sun. All energy is pulling inward as the moon gains in power before tipping into winter. Marbon is the feast of the second harvest before the dark takes hold. It's Persephone time, when we cross the threshold into the inner worlds. The cold wind blows. Darkness envelopes the world, and the rain falls hard and deep. The trees are bare, and chrysanthemum blooms in blood-red colours. Samhain is the festival to honour the dead and all that has passed. The nighttime forces are reaching their peak, and this is the witching hour before the sun is again reborn of the moon. In the Northern Hemisphere, Samhain's pagan ritual lives on as Halloween and trick-or-treating. This is the time when all of nature is using energy to let go and shed skins back to an unformed state of potential. From darkness light, from bane good, from death birth. The wheel turns to the winter solstice. What was seeded 9 months ago at Beltane is reborn again of the moon at Yule. The circle is unbroken. By the powers of the Mother Goddess of the Moon, and the Father Son the God, by the powers of the spirits of the standing stones and the rulers of the elemental realms, by the power of the stars above and the earth below, bless this time and we who are with you. I'm Merryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Check my channel on YouTube or contact me through my website www.merrylkey.com. Blessed be.